Risk of Rain 2 is a game with a soundtrack so good that it sort of single-handedly sparked my interest in digital composition. It's an absolute masterpiece, and it deserves all the praise in the world. Every track has value.
But just saying that is fucking boring and lame, so today we're going to be ranking all 38 tracks from the base game and DLC. They're going to be ranked based on just how much I like them in general, so do not expect a comprehensive breakdown of each track. And assuming that my audience isn't just clones of myself, you people will probably have different opinions, and I promise there's some hot takes to be had here. So if you have your own thoughts on these tracks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Without further ado, let's get into the ranking. At dead last, number 38, Thermodynamic Equilibrium. This song, along with the next one, always just felt out of place in the game's soundtrack. It's very distinct, but not exactly in a good way. The laid-back electric percussion and soft synths just sort of make for an awkward-feeling boss theme that doesn't, have you do anything besides maybe stare blankly into the abyss. Even at dead last, though, I wouldn't consider this a bad track, which really goes to show how amazing the soundtrack is. And building off of this one, number 37, Evapotranspiration. Same exact problems as the previous track, except this one is a stage theme, so the relaxed nature of it makes a lot more sense. Still not something I would listen to outside of the context of the game, though. Number 36, Parjanya. This theme is just a simple shop theme in essence, but with a bit more uniqueness than your average convenience store ambience. It's sort of silly and goofy, and it does have a unique, slow quintuplet movement, but it's still just a shop theme. Number 35, The Dehydration of Risk of Rain 2. It's just the menu theme, but less cool. Don't worry, we'll get to the menu theme when we get to it, but this is just the watered-down version, so it's getting put down here. Number 34, It Can't Rain All the Time. For those active in the community, it's been a well-known fact that Chris has been exhausted of both the game and the fanbase for a while now.
So I had this one person who was like, hey, I don't appreciate you, breaking the flow of the album by using the voice of a baby. I'm putting this album on and I want to enjoy it and I don't want to have interruptions. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? First of all, it's my album and I do whatever the fuck I want.
This song almost reflects how tired he was, with the name basically referencing that very fact. Nothing much interesting happens here, but it's a fine first stage theme. Better than Evapotranspiration for sure, but still not something I listen to outside of the game. Number 33. Nocturnal Emission. I swear, I just have a bias against this song because of the stage. This feels like the absolute most basic Risk of Rain 2 song, holding that signature spice but not actually spreading of it on the meal. As is the case with most Risk of Rain 2 songs, the climax of the song is the best part. Fuck this stage though. Number 32, Through a Cloud Darkly. A fitting introductory theme to the story of this game. Nothing really special, but it sets the haunting atmosphere well. Number 31, Prelude in D-flat major. I'm honestly really happy that Chris took the time to feature some lesser-known artists on the soundtrack, like with Chop in here. But in all seriousness, this rearrangement of the classic composition is a beautiful listen while in the Simulacrum menu, for the 6 people who actually ever play Simulacrum. Number 4. What the fuck? That's not a 4, what the fuck? Number 30, Lacrimosum. A much more calm version of a song that we will get to. It works great as the ending cutscene song, and I have no further comments. We will get to it, I promise. Number 29, Out of Whose Womb Came the Ice. A really cool atmosphere that leans into an electronic pulse. The guitar in this track is also low-key the hero of it. Greatest effects work here all around. Number 28, A Placid Island of Ignorance. One of the most unique themes in the game, for easily one of the coolest stages. Amazing ambience that works so well to provide probably the most alien atmosphere in the entire series. And honestly, as I'm writing this, I almost want to place it higher, but it might get a bit repetitive as I'm listening to it right now, and I just don't know. There's so many more bangers to come. Number 27, Om Madne Padme Hum Part 3. Honestly, I'm not sure how much of an unpopular opinion this is, but I just don't really care for the last part of the Omph saga. I feel like it gets slotted into this awkward position where it tries to be the final part of a 3-part epic, but also needs to be the first because it takes place before the other 2 in the actual game. So it ends up feeling like a bit held back, I guess. This is also the first guitar solo by George Karagianis we've heard so far.
And the solo is very good, and it's probably the best part of the song, and it's definitely not his worst solo throughout the album, and none of his solos in the album are bad, so ignore anything I wrote in the script. I was very tired, it was late.
Number 26, A Boat Made from a Sheet of Newspaper. This track is just sort of Chris jamming for 3 minutes. It feels a bit eccentric at times, but I'd be lying if I were to say that this wasn't sort of sick. That's basically it. Number 25, A Glacier Eventually Farts, and Don't You Listen to the Song of Life. This song gets as high as it is just for the drop. It feels legitimately magical. Besides that, the album version with the Werner Herzog monologue is extremely moody and I love it. Number 24, You're Gonna Need a Bigger Ukulele. Okay, now we're probably getting into some hot territory. This song is really cool, I like it a lot, but I do feel like it may be a bit simple. Like, it's intense and works well for a final boss, but it just falls behind most of the other boss themes in the game. Also, the middle section just kills the mood while listening to the song as a whole. And I know it's a reference to fucking Providence's theme, but it's still just, it sounds weird, I don't know. Sorry, can't put it any higher. Number 23, Petrichor V. This track is just 11 minutes of near pure ambience. And you know what? I sort of love it. It's pretty and actually can help me get into a sleeping mood. In the context of the game, it plays in one of the most mysterious places and really sells the otherworldliness of a moment whole. Great calm track. Number 22, Forgot the Cry of Goals. Hello, prog metal, I'm Dad. This track gives me the same vibes as It Can't Rain All the Time in that it feels like Chris was just tired at this point. So instead of putting his usual time and thought into a track, he just said fuck it and went all genty. And you know what? I don't hate it. I sort of just like the nonsensical time signatures in this track. And I am a Gent fan, so 22, me says. Number 21, I Should Build a Man a Statue. I only really have one thing to say for this track. Da na na na, da na na na, da na na na, da 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 da. Great stage 1 track that really hypes you up for the run to come. I trust that Alloy Collective DLC soundtrack will be well done by Stavros. Moving into the top 20, we have Terra Pluvium. This is a ranking placement I know will have some people foaming at the mouth. Listen, everything beyond this point is like S tier minimum. It's getting hard to choose my babies, and this one just had the most pressable forehead. It's a great stage theme with the first real instance of a guitar in the soundtrack, but ultimately I just think that there are tracks above it that are far better in every way. Like, for example, number 19, Having Fallen, It Was Blood. This song is just Chris jamming again, except the bass line is far more catchy and it just fits better into the game. Extremely simple, but well done. I can in fact have sex to this song. Number 18, Yane no Mori. Risk of Rain 2 if it was made by Pink Floyd. A wonderfully relaxed track for the literal inside of a volcano. It doesn't quite reach the height of a lot of other tracks, but I do appreciate the chill break from the chaos. It doesn't quite live up to the other Stage 5 track, but we'll get there when we get there. Number 17, Hydrophobia. This might be the track I associate most with Risk of Rain 2. It's iconic and for good reason. It's likely that this was the first true metal track that people heard when the game was first released, and it still holds up very well. It may be a bit simple in comparison to a lot of stuff that would be released later, but like Having Fallen, It Was Blood, it just works well for an early boss theme. Number 16, a tempestuous noise of thunder and lightning heard. When this track came out, I knew that Chris was going to deliver another round of bangers from Seekers of the Storm. It has such an unmatched energy for a Stage 1 boss theme, and it just pumps you the fuck up. The fast riff and retro noises create such a fun introduction to this album. Great track. Number 15, Tlalocan. Double fucking Rainbow 2 Electric Boogaloo. Honestly, there was no better track to bring back for an alternate Stage 5 boss theme. And I really like how this track, similarly to Antarctic Oscillation, takes the effort of doing something completely new with the original track as opposed to just shifting the key and changing the quality of the instruments. I honestly just wish it was a bit heavier considering the fact that Chris bought a 7-string for this album. Still, the guitar solo is amazing and it's a great callback. Number 14, They Might As Well Be Dead. The most Middle Eastern song for a damp forest I've ever seen. That is, until the drop hits and it's just like, whoa. Yeah, this climax is amazing and everybody knows it. It single-handedly carried it this high. And while some people might even place it in their top 5, we still have plenty to go. Number 13, Risk of Rain 2. Now this is how you do a menu theme. A complete track of its own with a great introduction to the mainline motif of the game. An amazing second track after Through a Crowd Darkly to remind you that this soundtrack you're about to listen to is made by a professional with standards. Number 12, Distrometer. Holy shit, this track is so underrated. On top of being iconic as fuck, it has what I believe to be one of the best synth solos in the entire soundtrack. The chords during the climax of this track are just so unique and just listen to it, honestly. Like, there's a script here, but I'm not gonna read, just listen to the fucking solo. pure genius here. Number 11, Into the Doldrums. This feels like the quintessential area theme. Plenty of build-up and a progressive drop that just keeps adding layers. The main motif of this song and the synth and the guitar work are just great. Maybe this is cheating a bit, but I just feel like this track accompanies the snow stage in such a great way for some reason. Also iconic, and another track I think deserves more love than it gets. Now we're moving into the top 10. Every track from this point onwards is at least double S tier. Starting with number 10, Who Can Fathom the Soundless Depths? What a beautiful second half to the arrangement of Prelude in F-flat major. It's so dreary and haunting that it almost feels like you're missing some important piece of lore when you're traversing that stupid fucking poison stage that I hate. The drop is obviously the highlight, genuinely being powerful enough to make me tweak like I'm on meth. Amazing closer to the Survivors of the Void album. Number 9, Antarctic Oscillation. Another track that doesn't get nearly enough love. Chris went and took a stage theme from Risk of Rain 1 and turned it into a full-on boss fight track. The solos here are filthy, and the double kick section is unlike anything else we've heard in the game soundtrack so far. Sometimes I forget how good this track is until I re-listen to it and go, oh yeah, this shit banging for real for real. Number 8, Om Mani Padme Hum Part 1. It was really hard to choose between this spot and number 7, but this one just barely lost the next one. That being said, this song absolutely slaps and makes the false sun fight almost bearable. The main riff utilizes that 7-string guitar in such a worthwhile way, and the ending synth solo just feels like Chris actually locking the fuck in and turning into God for a straight minute. Amazing use of the main Seekers of the Storm motif in the midsection as well. Just great all around. But that being said, number 7, The Face of the Deep. This song, like the last one, is an amazing final boss theme that almost makes the final boss it's associated with tolerable. And in many ways, they both have the same great qualities. Both have a great main riff, both have a great synth solo, both have a great use of a motif. But the one thing that brought this song a spot up, the one thing that made me choose it over Omph Part 1, is the sax solo. It's so fucking funky. It's such a good musical mix-up that just blows your mind the first time you hear it. Absolute killer of a track. Number 6, The Rain, formerly known as Oh fuck, I can hear them coming. They're coming. Wait, hold on. Let me explain. Okay, let me explain. This song is great. This song is amazing. I know that 75, maybe 80% of people will place this as their top one. But here's the thing. This ultimately is just Chris recycling 2 songs, one of which originally wasn't his. And yes, it's done in a majestic way that fits so weirdly perfect with Stage 5, but I just feel like there are some compositions ahead that are more original and better, in my opinion. So please, put down in the comments that I'm crazy, but put down the pitchforks, okay? Put them down, and don't come after me or my family. Thank you. Number 5, Coping as Fuck. Holy shit, this shit is so good. I have a feeling that the top 5 will just end up being nonsensical gushing, and what better track to start that with than this one? The meter on this song is just so fun. You got this funky 7 groove going on, and then you have these sections in 5/8 that break up the longer parts. Even if this song was only the first half, it would be decently high on the list. But then, halfway through the song, you get possibly one of the best breakdowns in the entire soundtrack. The wah pedal kicks in as the drums become complete show-offs. You have this disgusting quintuplet at the end of each bar that just fucking blows you away. And the energy overall is kept for the entire rest of the song as it goes through 2 different key changes and multiple different solos from the synths and the guitar. This song has been for a long time my favorite boss theme in the game, and I'm happy to be able to put it this high. Number 4, Con Lentitude Poderosa. Oh fuck, the angry mob is back. No, wait, whoa. Okay, listen. This song is probably the one that most people will put at their top 1 besides The Rain, formerly known as Purple. And once again, I completely understand anyone who puts it there. This track is an absolutely magnificent and powerful piece of music that perfectly scores the final siege in the game. It feels like a form of energy in itself, carrying the weight of the series on its back and propelling your character to their final encounter. It takes from one of the most beautiful pieces of music from Risk of Rain 1, Coalescence, and builds upon it in a way nobody could have expected. The opening guitar, the drop with the layered synth solos, everything about this track is amazing, and I wouldn't have changed it for the world. But in terms of my own personal preference for listening, there are just 3 tracks I have over this one. So without further ado, let's get into them. Number 3, Om Mani Padme Hum Part 2. Honestly, this track just came out of absolutely nowhere. Part 1 and Part 3 of the saga were both amazing, especially Part 1, but I honestly would have expected them to easily overshadow this one. Part 1 is the final boss theme for DLC, and Part 3 is the end of the saga. And yet, Part 2 just, for some fucking reason, ended up being the strongest of all of them. Not just the best track in the Secrets of the Storm DLC, but possibly one of the best tracks in the game. This is a funky, jazz prog rock fusion that kicks absolute ass. The drum work on this is some of Chris's best in my opinion, and the snappy feel of the bass just makes me want to bust. About 80 seconds of the song, you get a solo from the ROR2's, which has never been done before in the soundtrack. It's done by Chris's brother, and it absolutely fucking rocks. The chords that he plays beneath the filthy right-hand work just hit all the right buttons in my brain. And then just when you think the fun is over, George Karagianis comes in with what I believe to be his best guitar work on the album. And just about until the song is over, he keeps on going and it just keeps getting more impressive, and oh my fuck. This song single-handedly makes Streetburn Colony feel so alive and makes me want to go there. Bloody brilliant, outstanding. Number 2, Once in a Lullaby. At the top spot for the Survivors of the Void DLC, we have this track. This track isn't filthy or funky like the last one, but it sure feels filthy that a track this beautiful is heard only on the second stage of the game. Quite honestly, this track could have been the one to rival The Rain Farmland Was Purple as an alternate Stage 5 theme. The use of the oboe and violin in this track really give it such a unique vibe within the context of the rest of the game. It's a slow, methodical build-up from near ambience that begins to incorporate more and more elements. It switches from a 4/4 to a 7/4 about halfway through the song, and it happens so seamlessly I didn't notice until it was pointed out. By the time the guitar and violin are duetting, you think the song has reached the height of its composition. Then out of nowhere, the Risk of Rain synth comes in and absolutely ascends you to a different plane of existence. I adore the emotions of this track. It's like a great dread has come over the world, but there is the slightest hint of a light shining through. And the title of the track sort of alludes to this. It's a reference to Israel Kamikawiwa Ole's Over the Rainbow, which is a song about a better place existing somewhere just out of reach of us right now. Chris's song is simply the lullaby reminding us of his existence, keeping us going through the darkness. Such a deep track for a stage with Among Us is littered about. But now, it's finally time. Let's talk about my favorite track. Number 1, The Raindrop That Fell at the Sky. There's so much I could say about this song. So much, in fact, that I had written a 10-page script for a video just about this one track. But I decided not to make it. A lot of the reason for that I'll explain in a bit. But first, I just want to explain why this track is easily in my number 1. Not just in Risk of Rain 2, not just in the entire Risk of Rain series, but my favorite track in any video game. First of all, I need to give massive props to the bass work on this track. It's so smooth and syncopated, and having learned to appreciate bass work more in songs in general, this one stands out as being amazing. There's even a part of the song where, during a transition, Chris reverses the bass, and that just fucking blew my mind. I also have to commend the drum work. The kicks amplify the bass, the stack cymbals, and the toms adding a funk to the mix, and the hi-hat just being ridiculously, meticulously well done for being programmed in. The chord progression is simply immaculate. It starts off by keeping you in C minor before eventually going into this incredible anti-chord section that adds a new layer to the song. And then, once the first half of the song ends, we get to the real shit. Starting at almost 7 minutes in, we get by far my favorite solo in the entire franchise. This solo relates to a lot of the reason I had originally written a video about this song, and why I didn't ever make it. This song has a deep, personal history with its author. One about frustration, block, and a spiritual journey. It's not my place to speak about that, and Chris has explained enough about it in his own album commentary, which will be down in the description. But the main point is that this solo is not just work. Neither was this song. This song holds a far more impactful meaning to it. And I think that this final section is where you can really hear it. It just keeps building up, and the synth becoming more impressive and also heavy. And then it hits you with this. I was very sad to hear that Chris had to leave the soundtrack after Secret of the Storm, but I'm glad that he's made the best decision for himself, and I thank him for leaving behind the magical music he did. If you want to support him in his future endeavors, his Bandcamp is in the description. Subscribe if you liked, and as always, get on the fucking boat, man. Also, I was joking, the Song of Life is #1, the Song of Life, sweet!